Hello everyone, my name is Hello Good Game. Pleased to be your host within this trade recap video. Something new I'm going to be trying, mostly just to hold myself accountable and really do that recap. It's something that's really easy for us to pass over as traders. You know, it's been a long day. We want to go out and do other stuff, and then tomorrow's here, and there's fresh trades to take. So we don't always get the time to review our trades, and this is going to help me do that, and maybe I can help provide you all with a little value as well. So just going over my day trades here. First up was HCTI. Now this is something we played overnight. Let's pull it up on my bottom graph. I never know which chart I'm charting on here, but we were at the bottom, and we entered this after hours last night at about 13.3 cents, 13.5 cents, or sorry, 1.3 cents. This is I never trade stuff like this. This is total garbage. You should never trade something like this. I was just super bored, and it was on the volume scanners with really good volume, and we just decided to take it for a reel. And the reason we're taking this trade, our entry here, is at this this breakout, right? So we want a candle to open and close above this line, and we kind of did get this false candle here, but it broke down, but held trend, and then we get a strong breakthrough with that volume behind it, right? Now that's really important. See, when it broke here, we didn't really have the volume. We were kind of declining, and then on that secondary break, we see our volume increasing here, which is a sign of good things to come. Right, so taking entry at that break, it's after hours, so I don't have an active trader, so I kind of have to chase the fill, with my limits, right? So we do get in a little bit later than we'd like, but not too bad, right? And we chase that up, quite a bit. And I'll show you how I get these levels as well. Let's zoom out to our one-day chart here. And then we see we have this massive gap, right? A void in liquidity, where the stock price closed at 3 cents and then opens down at 1.5 cents, right? So we see that gap. We draw it out on the one-day chart, and it'll translate intraday. We also see, an upper wick rejection here, so we can mark that out. And then we had at the time our our 21 moving average down below. So we're going to mark that as well, right? So then we go back to our 1 minute chart here, and we can see these levels, right? So this is that same gap. This is that upper wick rejection. And then up here, we had the 21 one-day moving average, right? So taking our entry, our stop loss is set below VWAP and this area of consolidation, right? That's our stop. That's going to allow us to size in with what is like a billion shares, because it's like a penny stock, right? And then playing that up, right? And we're always going to want to scale this at a 1-to-1 risk reward, which was way down here. So always selling the majority. Oh, I don't want to mess that up too much. Always selling the majority of our position at that 1-to-1 risk reward, which kind of coincided with the bottom of the gap. And lots of times the bottom band of a gap is a good place to scale out those profits as well, just to protect yourself, so there's not a big rejection. But we broke through, and we just, we tore up here, getting that consequent encroachment of the gap, which is a really nice 2.8 on that, and then bled off over the period of the after-hour session. But holding this 200 moving average, that red line is my 200, holding this, and then actually kind of reversing here, that 2150 reversal, the two blues, and then holding trend right into close. And then pre-market session continued, right? So we've seen, that volume really increased. It's on people's scanners now. It's fresh for the day. And then it bleeds off again. Holds the 200, but actually breaks down. Now, this is a sign of weakness here, right? Specifically with a stock that's, about to be delisted unless it can get up to $1 here soon. So we see this bearish signal set, but it holds that upper wick from earlier, which was a previous rejection, now turns support, right? And we would like it to hold the gap as well. But then we see the reversal happen here, and then we compare that with a key level breakout, which is VWAP. And then it holds trend, right? That's the entry point here if we were to retake it, right? and then we run it up into open. And typically when something runs really hot into open, it's going to die for the remainder of the day. You probably don't want to hold on to that. But we did end up getting, from our original entries, 225%, which is a 9.68 risk reward ratio, which is crazy, right? On those runners, right? Keep in mind, we are scaling out along the way, just protecting those profits. Other scale out points, the gap, well, the 1-to-1, the beginning of the gap, the upper wick rejection here, and then consequent encroachment. If you wanted to, we didn't do this one. We took some profits in the morning, and then at the top of the gap, we closed out the remainder. I think we had like 10% here, only very, very little. And I think we even missed the top on my personal account and just kind of traded it down here to close out that position throughout the day. Like I said, something that runs really hard into open isn't going to keep running hard into the rest of the day, right? It's going to die, and something new is going to come along, and volume will rotate out. Specifically, when there is no news, there's no catalyst here. It's just like a really bad stock to be trading in general. So you want to keep that risk really tight, okay? So that was the first one. And then we are on to our second trade of the day, NEHC. Now, I don't know where this is charted. Oh, right here on the bottom as well. Perfect. This actually had news, right? So for my news, I'm going to go to Stock Titan. I love this website, and then it might still be here. You can always see what's running with news on the main page here. And at the time this morning, NHEC was there. Did I type that in wrong? NHEC? NEHC? Yes. I definitely don't have dyslexia. So 9 hours ago this morning, advances hyperscale discussions and prepares for board expansion to accelerate AI infrastructure strategy in the area, right? So this is pretty cool. This is like Texas, and they're converting like hydrogen into energy for data centers, which is pretty decent. We love data center news. We love American like manufacturing news, right? Or industry news, I guess, right? So this was a really nice play, and we've seen it pop up on scanners with that news, right? So the news hits this morning here, and then it's just going, right? I'm a little slow to it. Some news pops fade off right away, right? It's important for us to hold VWAP, right? So when we see, because it's like first couple candles are just news pop volume, right? This is just people slapping it. But then we see VWAP hold here, so we can take our entry, right? And then our stop is below this pivot point here, which is fairly arbitrary. You don't really want to use VWAP because it's so close. You could get a liquidity grab, a false breakdown into a rip, and you don't want to get wicked out on that, right? So a little bit of a wider stop loss, but we always trade to a 1-to-1 risk reward, right? That's what I like to do. Keep it simple, a 1-to-1, and then just hit over 50% on your day, right? Not that hard, right? So you can see I'll also use scales. That indicates that I'm scaling out. And then the London guard, because I've gone to London, inside joke. So we take this because it's holding VWAP, and we have our stop loss on swing, which is fairly arbitrary at the time, just being honest. But it needs to be there. You have to manage your risk because that determines the size of position that you can take, right? And then scaling out 1-to-1, and then I think this was a 2-to-1 that we scaled out at as well. Just by the seat of our pants, we didn't really have time to go to the 1 day. But if you were to do so, you would have been drawing this 50 moving average as a trend line here somewhere like that. There's this order block here that I think basically coincides with that really nicely. Like we see rejection, breakdown. So this order block is a massive point of rejection, right? And then we kind of actually see that holding up here, right? So we kind of know where we're going. You see the breakout, of the 21 moving average here. And then we also break above, this upper wick rejection. So translating that into our 1 day, intraday, I guess, we do get these levels to play off of, right? So, breaking these two levels is very bullish for us, and we can play the expansion move upwards, but just keep in mind that it may not hold because these, again, are serious rejection points, even though on the intraday it may go above, like we've seen here on these levels previous, right? Wherever they are. Hello, hello, hello. We've seen here, like this wick's above, 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 all above this level. But at the end of the day, they close below it, right? And that's, what we're playing with here on the 1 minute chart or intraday is, breaking above that level, selling it up, but knowing that it's going to close below it, right? So that was our second trade. Nothing fancy here, just a quick news scalp. And, we see it on the volume scanner. We've seen the news come in live in real time. We check it out. We assess it. It seems pretty decent. Like I said, it's got the data center keyword here. AI infrastructure, let's go. And it's just, that's kind of the way of the road for a day trader. Living in the moment, right? So our third play would be CTGL. Oh, I don't think this is right. CLTG? CTGL. Can't be right. This definitely is not it. Here it is. CGTL. Is that not what I was saying? CGTL. Man, I'm definitely not dyslexic. Sometimes, and that slows me down, and it can kind of mess up our trades. So I did the second trade here. I must have done the first one up top, because I traded this twice today. Yeah. So we had a baby scalp here, not very impressive, but we're taking it. And this had news as well. CTGL. Most plays I like to take are supported by a catalyst or news. No, I don't see it on the scanner even. Interesting. I'm sure this had some news. Maybe not. Maybe not. Anyways, it's a volume mover, right? It's got, if we look at the 30-day average volume, 3.7 million, and the current day volume is 17 million, right? So the relative volume here is quite high. And that makes a stock with a lower market cap, I don't know if it's 19 million, very easy to move. And this 19 million is, 19 million here. It's not 19 million here. It was probably, 8 million here or something silly, right? So low market cap, high relative volume, that fits our criteria if it doesn't have news. I honestly thought it did, though. And then, yeah, this was just kind of like a baby play. We were late to it. But we still get that one-to-one risk reward that we like. And that's why we always scale those profits, because sometimes their profits disappear from you, right? So we're taking it at the break of the 21 here, because we expected more expansion after a recovery back to the $2 level. Got that one-to-one just barely, and then, we get that sell-off. So if you didn't get out, you never want to let a green trade turn red. Just stop it at entry, and you don't always have to let it go to your stop, right? And then we see that again later on in the day. We should have played this. I kind of got busy because I make the magic YouTube videos as well here, but we had the reversal signal set here in the morning, reclaiming the 200 as a key level. Breakdown, which is kind of lame on low volume, and low volume grind up here, right? And then claiming VWAP. And once we claim VWAP, that's a sign that things are looking a little bit better. And you can see that obviously all the other traders thought so as well, as now the volume starts increasing, right? And we can get expansion over that level. Retesting, we see the 200 cross VWAP. This is a really good indicator for continuation, maybe after hours, pre-market the next day, whatever it happens to be. And then, the after hours session hits, and I'm looking at volume. Typically not a lot flows after hours. So it's very easy to get in on whatever is. And, we see the volume increasing here, right? So we want to get in on this. We like to get in on near trend. We just get tagged in, which is beautiful. So I never want to chase too much pre-market. You've seen what happened here when that happens. It can move quickly with or against you. But we do get that one-to-one, which is really nice. Scale that out, and the trade is still active with runners here. So this will remain on our watch list tomorrow because we had that 200 cross the VWAP, which is really nice. And again, the relative volumes here, and maybe it could be a multi-day runner. Wouldn't that be nice? Kind of like we've seen HTCI gap up the next day. We could definitely look for something like that here as well. So trading this in the morning, really high risk. You might have got burned on this if you weren't fast enough. Be really sticky with those one-to-one risk-reward cells. They will protect you in the long term. It's about consistency. And then the runners you'd want to close out at break even, and everything gets closed out no matter what. You always follow that risk-reward at that stop-loss level. So next up we have a loser, I think. I think I lost on this one, AAOI. And you don't win them all, right? And it's important to review the losers as well to see where you went wrong, right? So this had news, and it looked like it was going to flow, right? We take it. We have our stop below this swing here, right, from that morning dip, which, it kind of did hold, but we didn't want to risk it, right? We get in this play, and we've seen other things moving, right? And volume rotation is a big deal, right? So, we're in the trade here. We didn't scale. It's not hitting that one-to-one. We could have. We should have. And then, we want to draw this as our low because we're making higher lows, right? This is a low, and then this is a higher low. This now becomes a lower low. And if we break that lower low, it's game over. So we draw this level as our new stop because you don't always have to stay to your original stop. Why, not protect yourself? Why would you do that, right? So there's our stop preemptively with a stop sign indicated at this level of a break, right? So that's a loser. Keep those losses small, keep the wins consistent, and let the runners run, right? Then we have KLTO. Now this is something we played the other day and replayed it again. This was just a crazy run based on news. Like, man, look at this. Getting in on this so early. It was like 23 cents when we were in it on our main broker. And they had news increasing the longevity of mice by 30 to 40%. And, first day, this runs to $2. Second day, it runs almost to $4 from 20 cents on the mouse longevity news, which is so crazy. But if you could just make things live 40% longer, that's crazy, right? That's so cool. So we're actually in this again today because it's go to our 1-day chart. Looking pretty good as we have that initial move, continuation, and then trend retest. It bouncing on this 200 here and holding is kind of a sign that maybe this is a multi-day or multi-week run. This could be a real company in the future as it gets reevaluated and that market cap continues to climb, right? So we kind of like that. And I think we just played this tonight. Oh, no, it was this morning or during market here. So we see it running, right? It gapped up, reverses, holds trend, reclaims VWAP as a key level, and then kind of breaks up, almost fills the gap, dies into open. And then this is what typically happens, right? When you see something run kind of hot into open, typically it'll die at open, which is kind of scary, but a good opportunity to load dips, right? We did miss it. We weren't too focused. Volume was kind of low. And then we have the reversal signal set, right? So when the 21 crosses the 50, we like that. We set our entry here. We're a little slow to it. It's hard to get it perfectly. You don't know if it's going to set, and sometimes it rejects. So wait for that confirmation. And then we put our stop below the gap, right? Below the gap, below VWAP. Oops. Or at VWAP, I should say. And then, really good expansion here as we continue to hold trend, right? Holding that gap for the most part. really close on that stop level. We get lucky here. And on those stops, you want to make sure that just like how we're waiting for a breakup, we want that candle to open and close above our breakout point before we take it. We also want that to happen with our stops, right? To start and close below your stop point. Or else it could just be a wick and an up, like you see right here. If your stop was here, how brutal would that be? Here as well. So you want to make sure that that candle opens and closes below. And then, the rest is history. We hit the gap, which is a really good place to start scaling out. And even that's a 2-to-1 risk reward. We scale out early at that 1-to-1 when the gap fills or whatever. And then, it goes all the way to a 4.3-to-1 risk reward. And, still kind of keeping our eyes on this into the future. It's a new stock with some big news that obviously institutions are acting really favorable to. XTIA. Maybe it's on the bottom. Here we go. This is another market open trade. I think this had volume. It was like Trump volume. Trump news or something. I don't know. What was it? Development by collaboration with the U.S. Department of Energy. Yes. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Laboratory Frontier Supercomputer. Yes. So we love it. That's kind of cool news. You can see a positive and a negative here if you really want to get into it. Basically, I click on the news. I come here. I read the positive, negative, and then I'm trading it if I like it, right? So we did like it. Supercomputer. We want it in on VWAP, right? So we see the reversal. Trend holds, reclaims key level VWAP. So we want to get in on that retest. We get tagged in here, which is beautiful. And then it's a quick scalp back up, 1-to-1, trim your profits. You never know what happens. And we reject off the pre-market high, which is a bummer, but it is what it is. And, we got our eye on this into the future as well. It's pretty cool news. But there's going to be new stuff tomorrow, right? So this is why it's important to scale out, protect your profits, and that's going to be a really prominent, reoccurring theme for you all on the channel here. And then ONCO, I guess, is the last one. We're doing today, if I can get it up. Typing is hard. And again, this is just moving after hours. We see some fresh volume. We get in on this on a retest. And just scalp it up here. Nothing much. Just had some volume. And, it's the same story. Take those profits because you never know when it dies. And, you could be out green and not have to care. You could be on to the next ticker, onto the next volume surge, rather than being like, oh, well, I missed out and now I'm at break even or a tiny little bit red. What do I do, right? So confirm those profits always at a 1-to-1 risk reward. I know I love to. And, yeah, that's it. So HTCI was a really nice play from the night before. Then we had NEHC this morning, TL. I keep getting that backwards, which is continuing to move upwards here for us, which is nice. And we could scale out more, right? So just as we've made this video, we can take a look and maybe try to get out here. 1.37. What was this? Did we get a 2 here? Oh, it was a 2. Man, we missed our exit. We could have had a 2-to-1 risk reward on those runners. Let's see. Let's hold off. And if we get back to that level, we'll take the scale. We still have a few hours left until after hours shuts down. I'll hold on to this as long as the 50 holds, right? As long as this dark blue 50 MA can hold the price above it, I think I'll keep my runners in the game, and we'll try to get back to this 2-to-1 risk reward to scale out. If we hadn't scaled out our profits, then I would be cutting it here, right? Because I would be scared it would go down and we'd lose those profits, right? And that's the power of scaling out is the change in psychology within remaining in that trade. I can remain in this trade and I'm not worried, right? Because I've already made my money. But if I haven't done so yet, to remain in this trade is so scary, right? It's a far different feeling. Anywho, so we're going to try to do daily reviews for you all within my day trading. I also have some longer term uh, swing plays, I guess, for GameStop, thanks to the senior note offerings as well as the general IV earning cycles, which is pretty cool. So we get an additional cycle to play for our GameStop, which is great. We'll have a video on that for you all as well. And then also, I've got some longer term investments. Project Jack Attack. We started this just a few days ago. We're already seeing some nice gains here as well. So we can go through some of the winners, some of the losers, right? And then just again, that's really good to review for myself to improve my skill set into the future. And, for anyone who wants to listen along, maybe they could learn a thing or two as well, or maybe even help me out, I don't know. So cheers. Thank you all so much. Have a magical day. Leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon in the next.